Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the 2 Plus podcast. Today, this video is going to be another one of our tactics videos. Alex and I want to do these videos based on events that actually occurred in battles that we played. We love Theory Hammer, just like the next Warhammer fan, but sometimes it doesn't match up to reality. So we'd like to bring these moments that happened in our games and then share the learning that we had out of it. So what you can see here, if I can just zoom in a little bit, is the top view of a recent battle between my Wood Elves and Alex's Lizardmen. He got turn one, and this is the photo from the end of his turn one. You can see on his left flank, he's got some Skinks, another unit of Skinks, Carnosaur, some Cold One Knights. You can't see behind here, but there is a Slan there, and there is Pterodons with a Skink Chief in there. I'll get to the right flank in a bit, but what happened on this left flank was his Skinks here took out 3 of my Sisters of the Thorn, and then his Skink Chief managed to fireball a unit of Deepwood Scouts that was here just poking out a little bit, killed 4, they panicked, they fled off the board. So the first turn was pretty productive for him and put me on the back foot a little bit. You can see that it's already looking a bit in disarray at the moment. So what was important for me was trying to assert myself on this battlefield with my right flank. You can see over here, I have a unit of 5 Glade Guard, a small unit of Dryads, a level 2 and a Warhawk, a Great Eagle, a unit of Deepwood Scouts, and another unit of 5 Glade Guard. And then I have my Forest Dragon there with a Glade Lord on top. His right flank is a bit weaker than his left, which created an opportunity for me. He has a unit of Saurus, I think about 16. Then he has a unit of Skinks that are vanguarded up. And then he has a unit of Ripidactyls at the edge of that forest there, a Salamander unit, and then some scouting Skinks there that didn't manage to do any wounds, thankfully. So this interaction we had here it's a tactic I use to try and maximize the range of my dragon's charge and the fact that it had terror. If I just zoom in to this right flank a little bit. So you can see the dragon behind there. It's a large target, so it can see over the top. So it can see any of these units. Alex had placed these Ripidactyls at the edge of this forest. That was 19 inches away from my dragon, so the maximum charge distance for it. That was a strategic decision for him. He was trying to bait this charge out of my dragon, hoping that he would fall short, leaving the dragon idle in the middle and then leaving his units to have another turn pushing up the board. They'd just be able to fly straight over the top. The dragon would be facing the wrong direction. It'd be a shambles for me after already forfeiting a flank, or seemingly at that stage. This forest is just difficult terrain, so the charge distance, the charge ending in that terrain means that the dragon would have to take the lowest dice of the 2 rolled. The Glade Lord does sneakily have move through cover, which is very handy. It means that it doesn't suffer the -1 movement penalty on a charge, but it does have to take that lowest dice, which is a hefty price on a charge. It's failed a lot of charges for me in the past. So the risk of making this charge was not making this charge was pretty high, I thought. So I needed to do something, and that was really my main threat that I had. So the way that I wanted to maximize this moment for my dragon was to initially charge the Skinks, and then given that they are leadership 5, I think there's a high chance that they fail their terror test, and there's probably a high chance that Alex is going to flee anyway, because why the hell would he want 10 Skinks in combat with a Forest Dragon? So my intention is to charge this unit here, make them flee, do a leadership test to redirect, and then charge into the Ripidactyls here. So you can see the red arrow here was my first charge declaration. Alex then didn't decide, sorry, he failed his terror test, as as I had hoped, forcing them to flee. And then I did my leadership test, redirecting into the Ripidactyls. Now, I got a little bit lucky here with my dice rolls, but made it pretty comfortably in the end. I rolled a 5 and a 6 for my 2 charge dice, and then I rolled a 6 for my Swift Stride, which meant that I charged 21 inches. I only needed 19, but you know, that is a handy distance to be able to charge. As a result, the dragon makes contact with the Ripidactyls. And as dragons do, the dragon wipes them in one go, allowing him to reform or test to reform, which he successfully does, being leadership 10. That's a pretty high chance that he's going to get that off, which is kind of the double threat of the dragons at the moment, is their mobility, not just their hitting power, is what we're finding. But it reforms successfully after wiping them, and then manages to, this is a couple turns down the track, but he reforms here. The skinks never came back from their rally. So he pushed to the middle, forced this Saurus unit to flee. He eventually catches them and then does a full circle. And by the end of the battle ends up basically back where he started. So I just wanted to share this tactic with you guys, because this is one way you can use your hard-hitting units to force weaker units to run away and maximizing your charge threat. I know I was using a forest dragon in this scenario, but it's pretty transferable, I think, to strong units. You'd be able to do something like this with a unit of chosen Chaos Knights, for example, or maybe a hero-based character that had some static combat res. Ideally, you have a unit that has either Terror or Swift Stride. That definitely makes it easier, forcing a leadership test to make them hopefully flee first without them being able to choose. And Swift Stride, as you see, makes charges of this length possible. But it is transferable, I think, to other units as well. Even if an infantry unit was so lucky that it had two units to choose from to charge, although that probably doesn't happen too often. What is important, though, obviously, is you have 2 units to charge. You can only redirect once. So the strategy is obviously declare your charge against the weaker unit first, either force them to flee or hope that they're going to choose to flee, and then redirect into the unit you actually want to charge into. Another little handy point about redirection is if you redirect your charge into a shooting infantry unit, they don't have time to stand and shoot. So if your main target is, say, the skinks, or you're playing an Empire gun line and there's 20 handgunners in a line, but you can make the Empire archers flee from their terror test, then redirect into the line of handgunners, then they don't get to stand and shoot. And if you're charging with a heavy melee-focused unit, then they're likely going to come out on top of that combat as well. So yeah, I found this very useful. It ended up allowing me back into the combat, into the battle. It ended up just freeing up basically half the board for me. And my elves were able to run and hide in this corner, continue to shoot as his lizard men ran around there. I ended up winning this game by about 200-ish points. It was still close, but if I didn't clear that right flank, I would have been in a lot of trouble. So yeah, hopefully you guys find this as useful as I did. I'm still learning a few of these little tricks along the way, and Alex and I will continue to share them when we come across tactics that work. So happy wargaming, everyone. Hope you're all enjoying the old world. Thanks for watching.